welcome to POWELLful Couple Journey, where we talk about immigration processes and ideas. And for today's video, I am going to share to you regarding our Form I-130 interview process with immigration. Right now, we are here in St. Augustine, Florida, because it's my husband's birthday, and he's right beside me on the other side of this room. So right now we are going to share to you the process that we took and how we end up getting an approval from an immigration officer right on the spot. So we submitted our Form I-130 way back in May 2021, right after we got married in April. Then my husband had all the files and all the process through online because that's the easiest one. The other part that he did was he secured a money order in order for us to submit the paper, including the form that has his signature. And by the way, with our J1 Waiver Helping Hands group, somebody is asking there that how was it able to have the signature online. It's not possible. You need to do it, print the form and sign, then include the money order or the check, and then submit it through mail. And that's what we did. And it's very important to use black ink. And if you could see from the forms that I had created, the Form I-130 forms from the USCIS, it's really black ink. You need to use that. You need to follow their directions because it's already given. And all you need to do is to sign and submit your form. In the year 2022, I believe it's in May, they were able to give us a letter that says you are scheduled for an interview. At first, I feel so nervous because it's our first interview with the immigration officer with the USCIS. And I know some of my friends that have filed their Form I-130, they were not interviewed. Their interview was waived. In our case, we need to go to the Jacksonville, Florida, because that is where the USCIS immigration has taken place. So we prepare ourselves. We took a hotel, which is very close to the USCIS immigration building. And my husband is so proactive. He does all the research. And I'm so happy because a day prior to our immigration interview, we already scout the place and we are thinking about the traffic and we need to be there on time. So in preparation, we did all our documents in a suitcase. My husband has a suitcase, not suitcase, sorry, attache case. And then I had a filer where I put all my evidences. So with that, he has evidences like marriage license, his birth certificate that he is a U.S. citizen, his IDs, his passport because he already has a passport during the time, and all other documents including tax forms, joint filing, and we had his will. So he has his will placed there because that was already accumulated during the time of our duration of our um, union together. So in my part, what I had collected are the notice, the Form I-797 notice from the USCIS. I have that. I also have my DS 2019 that it is still current and I am on status. I have my birth certificate. We have my marriage license pictures together, letters from friends and family that will vouch our real relationship. And we dressed smart, we dressed nicely. We were able to go there so early that the guard was telling us, oh, you don't have to go in yet because this is the actual time that you have to get in. So we waited in the car for a little bit or outside because there are already a lot of people waiting outside. So they are also waiting for their interview. And we were able to, oh, by the way, when you enter the immigration office, it depends on what area you are. We are told to remove our watch, to remove our any metals you have, including your shoes, the belt. And my husband is even saying, "Oh my gosh, we feel like we are scrutinized here and all." But I think that's their way of putting all good in their security. So after that, we put all back to ourselves, our phones, our watches, belts, shoes that has metals, something like that. Then they were able to escort us to another room. It's a waiting room where we have to prepare ourselves. And I even told my husband, I don't feel nervous because our relationship is legit. If we are going to be sent in another room because we will be interrogated, I'm okay because, again, we have all the evidences showing that we are a real couple and we would like to really be presentable and get this approval right on the spot. So that's the mentality that we have. Then this nice lady, her name is Miss Flores, I believe. She greet us, good morning, and then she escort us to our room, which is from the waiting room. We went to the room where she is, and then she said, "Oh, you have things with you?" I said, "We said yes." So individually, we have our things. She allowed us to sit on different chairs facing her table. So she said, if she is going to ask my husband, I have to be quiet. If I were asked, my husband has to be quiet. Then we have an oath. We have to oath in front of her, saying that we are telling the truth, nothing but the truth. So we were able to do that. And then she started talking about how nice our wedding is. For me, it's so simple, it's memorable. We got married in a church, and we have our pastor who ordained us for that marriage, and it's very beautiful. It started on a rainy day, and thank God in the afternoon, because our wedding is in the afternoon, we were given very, very good sunshine. And it's like God's way of saying, we are I am blessing your marriage. I'm like, yay, I'm so happy during that time. So the immigration officer asked my husband some certain questions, which is very specific, direct, and simple. First is he asked about, where did you meet? How is your relationship now? Your wife's birthday. Um, what else? Who introduced you to each other? So those are specific questions. After that, the Miss Flores, which is the immigration officer, asked me for my for this interview with the form I-130. She asked me certain questions like, what is the full name of your husband? How did you meet? What is his birthday? Um, what are the where did you get married, things like that, and yeah, who introduced you, something like that. So it's very simple and casual. Then after that, she mentioned about, are there any forms that you would like to show to me that proves your relationship? So my husband pulled his big attache case, and he has like joint bank accounts. He pulled our what they call this one, um, joint filing, tax filing. Then the immigration officer, which is Miss Flores, she keeps on going on the files and all. And then when Miss Flores saw that my husband has the will, because my husband explained to her that my wife is also the sole beneficiary of my 401k, my life insurance, our estate, stuff like that. And then after that, she said, okay, this is enough evidences. I saw enough already about this, and it's has all the information I needed. And then she didn't say that you're approved. What she mentioned is, I cannot recall the actual words she said, but what I could remember is this: she said that there is no way that I could say that um, I'll not approve you with your Form I-130. I'm so relieved during the time, like, yes, Lord, thank you so much. So it's so nice. It's a very nice discussion with her. I don't feel any nervousness at all. And she is really looking at us on the eyes, and she could tell. I mean, she's a smart lady. We do not want to put ourselves in a way that this is a joke, because they could tell based on your forms you submitted, the evidence you submitted, and the other documents they wanted to add to your relationship along the journey that you have. And then I know that I'm already approved. And then she told me, did you prepare? Because the immigration officer knew that I submitted my Form I-130, my Form I-485, my I-765, the work permit, and my travel document, the Form I-131. So she asked me about, did you prepare any documents for us for your Form I-485, which is the medical? I said, I didn't receive any of those. And then she said, did you have the letter of the invite for you to have an interview? I said, yes. So she took it, and then she told me about the label that says, once you have the interview, you also have to bring other documents pertaining to your other forms you submitted. And oh my gosh, I apologized so much to her. I said, oh my gosh, I didn't read that properly. I thought that it's a separate letter that will be given to me. And she said, no worries about it. I'm going to give you a courtesy letter that's asking about your medical certificate or medical letter from a surgeon, certified surgeon, that would vouch your health and is attached to your Form I-485. And she's so nice because she said you'll be getting that in the mail in 2 to 3 weeks, which it happened, I think, in the fourth week. Well, that's okay, that's fine with me. But then that is very nice, because come to think of it, it's an interview not just for my Form I-130, it's already an interview for my Form I-485, and I thought I will be denied on the spot. So good thing that I asked for her nicely. Again, thank you goes a long way, and saying like you have an apology for that specific wrong or mistake you have had. And then she said, don't worry about it. I'm going to give you a courtesy letter. And it happened. I have a courtesy letter in my USCIS online portal. And I also have the hard copy that I got from the mail. And after that, I started looking for USCIS surgeon along our area, because she's asking, what's your zip code? That way, I'm going to be putting all of the um, surgeon numbers that you can call that is close to your area. And she's so nice, because here's the thing, if you are showing that you're a real couple, I believe that the USCIS immigration officer is also happy to know that they are talking to these real couple and not just getting the benefit of green card or being here in the US, right? So that's the other thing. You have to prepare yourself, you have to be calm, you have to make sure you have all the documents you needed. That is, aside from the documents you submitted, prepare other documents that's showing your real relationship. Then I remember during those times when I saw the approval notice in the mail that says your Form I-130 is approved. This is an approval notice. I am so happy, because I know that there is a light with this immigration papers that we have. And come to think of it, I had the process to do it yourself. I never had any immigration lawyer that is helping me along with my papers, because I asked for my immigration lawyer before through a consultation. I paid $150 in Orlando, Florida, for him to say, oh, your J1 waiver is not going to work, it's not going to work. So with that, I really step up, and I said to myself, since we started this already on our own, we will forever be grateful to God once we are given the chance to get the waiver and get all the approval notice like Form I-130 on our own. And this is my way of sharing my ideas to you through Facebook with J1 Waiver Helping Hands group. Just agree to group rules and you will be accepted immediately. And also this powerful couple journey in YouTube. I hope you will stick with us, give us a like, share, subscribe to the channel because I'm going to talk all about immigration process on how I started from a J1 teacher with 212E rule, now a legal permanent resident here in the US. And after 3 years, I will be eligible to get my US citizenship. So that is the nicest thing if you do it legally and you are on status while you are still in your J1 and transitioning to getting your green card. So those are the processes that I took. It's not easy. The agony of waiting is really stressful. But once you see your processing time, that is very nice because you can really tell that your papers is really within the time frame. And if it's beyond that, you can even ask for your state congressman or state senator because that's what I did during the time that I have my DS 3035. It took 13 months. So I told my husband that my DS 3035 is already beyond the processing time that they said 12 months. So it's 13th month and I asked for my husband's help and he was able to look at it on Google with our state senator and state congressman. And I believe the one that responded is the state congressman. And that officer that has connected with the state congressman says that I will be the one to personally email them, give them my case number, and they have like a letter that pertains to me saying that I allow them to see and open my case. It took like 2 to 3 weeks, I guess, with the back and forth of the conversation through online. And then they were able to ask the DS, they were able to ask the um, Department of State officer that handles my case about my DS 335. And then they were saying that it's still on the process. We're just going to have to wait for a couple of months. But it took them, I guess, 15 months before I hear back from them. And the best part is the moment I have my case on hold with my Form I-612 and my DS 3035 has all of the papers. They received my DS 2019, they received my statement of reason, my passport, they received other documents that I submitted, which includes the evidences. Then they received the Form I-612 and they received the Form I-613. The I-613 is a document from the USCIS that says you have a pending case with them and they're just waiting for the favorable recommendation of the Department of State. And then a fateful day in August 1, 2023, I was able to get a favorable recommendation with my DS 335. It's one of the happiest day of my life because I proved the immigration attorney in Orlando that it's working. It worked for us because he said it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Well, it's like a slap on his face. Like, yes, finally, I got a favorable recommendation and we did it through ourselves without any help from the immigration lawyer. And we were able to save a lot of money. We didn't spend 8,000, 10,000, 15 or 20,000 just to hire an immigration lawyer. So the moment I got my favorable recommendations, I'm so happy. I have my approved Form I-130, which is the alien petition for alien relative. Then I have my approval or favorable recommendation with my DS 3035. So I have two already, and I'm praying for my Form I-612. Then the moment I have my Form DS-35 favorable recommendation, I accumulated all my papers and I prayed to the Lord and I said to God, Lord, if ever given a chance, would you like me to open up doors for other J1 teachers that are seeking for a waiver? Which is like, I have a go signal to God. I'm like, yeah, maybe something like that. So in August 13, 2023, I will not forget, I created J1 Waiver Helping Hands group. We started with like 15 of us because those are my friends that I invited. Those are J1 teachers that I invited. Now we are 3,400 in just a span of a year. These are J1 teachers, these are J1 visa holders alike, not just Filipinos, but different people from different countries that are seeking for a waiver. And I'm so happy that we opened doors of opportunities for that. And they were able to connect now, to connect to those people that has the same situation. Just like, for example, I got married single. My husband is single during our union. So we don't have a lot of complicated situation. With the other J1 teachers that I know of, with the J1 Waiver Helping Hands group, some of them are married and are on the process of getting divorced. So they cannot relate to my story. However, we have friends and J1 visa holder teachers with 2 and 2-year-old that are on the process of getting their divorce. So they are connecting to each other, and they said, "Can I private message you?" And now they're messaging, and they are asking, "What's your process? Do you need an immigration lawyer? Who is your immigration lawyer?" So those are the things. So I am so thankful that I was able to create the J1 Waiver Helping Hands group. This is a private Facebook group that I created. Just agree to group rules and you will be accepted immediately. Share it to your friends, share it to other J1 teachers that are seeking for a waiver. That way, even though there are silent readers, that's okay as long as they are learning from us and they are learning that there is somebody from the Philippines who did it herself and now a green card holder. And that's the purpose that we have our waiver, because the waiver helps us to stay here in the US without fulfilling the 2 years. Now, my husband and I are so happy. We are celebrating his birthday. Today is William's birthday. Yay! Happy birthday to him. And I am so happy because in next year, we are going to visit the Philippines. I was even posting before that when I came here in the US, I'm a maiden. When I will go back to the Philippines, I'm going to be like a married person with my husband with me. And I'm so happy that it's my way of showing to him the Philippines, the culture that we have, how happy the Philippine people are, and showcasing our nice culture and tradition. So that right there, I can go back to the Philippines anytime I want without any restrictions, without thinking of, oh my gosh, can I enter the immigration without me having a lot of questions and all? Because as a J1 teacher, yes, you'll have a lot of questions from the immigration. Now I'll just have to show my green card, my passport, my ticket, and boom, I can go back to the Philippines whenever I want. So that's the beauty of having your um, J1 waiver, because we all know that most of us from the Philippines, that it's really hard to get a no objection statement, and that is because they changed their policy right after COVID. And right now, if you have a US citizen spouse or a US citizen child, you cannot automatically have your papers submitted and get your form I-130 approved and then proceed to getting your adjustment of status. Now it's different. You need to show them that there's a waiver. So there are 5 types of waiver. And the first type of waiver is asylum. You also have persecution waiver. You also have hardship waiver, which I have because I'm married to a US citizen. You also have like Conrad, and there's another one, the no objection statement. So there are different ways for you to waive your J1 212E rule, but the most um, most J1 teachers, especially from the Philippines, they are filing through the some of them are persecution because they are LGBTQ. I cannot vouch for that one. I know some of the J1 teachers are doing that, some of my J1 teacher friends online. And what I can only vouch is the exceptional hardship waiver that we have. So the exceptional hardship is not to the J1 holder, but to the US citizen. What will he be facing? What will be the hardship? Extreme. It has to be extreme. It has to be exceptional that he will be facing or she will be facing if the um, person like the J1 visa holder is forced to go back to the home country just like the Philippines. So those are the things that you have to prove. And some of you are asking, well, what are your grounds for waiver? Again, my grounds for waiver is my US citizen spouse. That is my husband. And what are your compelling, strong arguments and evidences? One, financial hardship, which you need to have your monthly budget. You can go to POWELLfulCoupleJourney.com. That way you'll know our monthly budget. Then you have to have your psychological evaluation. Psychological assessment is different with psychological evaluation. Psychological evaluation is the summary of the assessment, the how many times did your husband or your spouse went to the psychological um, psychologist or psychotherapist. So most probably you would like to go to forensic psychologist to have this one open up about J1 waiver and the hardship of your husband emotionally. Next, you can have the employment hardship. What will be your husband or your spouse facing if he will be employed here in the US and you have like payments to have, house to pay, car payment, credit card payments, utility payments, rental, rent or mortgage payments, so things like that. Then how about employment in the Philippines? Do you think if he will be in the Philippines, he can work? Is his education enough for him to work there? What is the situation? Safety in your country, poverty in your country. So look at certain details, look at some articles in the internet. You can do that and highlight those and put a tab saying that the poverty in the Philippines is already high. If you compare it in the year 2020 to the year 2024, um, this is the poverty now that was being assessed in the year blah 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 based on the article. So you highlight that and you put a sticky note at the top. That way the USCIS officer or the Department of State officer will just look at it and say, oh, okay, this is one of their evidences about the poverty in the Philippines, the crime, safety, uh, what else. So those are the things. And language barrier. Do you think if your husband or your spouse go back to the Philippines and communicate with the locals, do you think it will be easy for him or easy for your spouse? So think of those. Those are your evidences. Your case is unique to you and you can do it on your own as long as you have loads and loads and loads of evidences. Always think in your brain. You have to think of the totality of circumstances. It's even in the chapter where there is a form in the USCIS portal, online portal that says these are our grounds or the arguments that you can say that would lead to the extreme hardship of your US citizen spouse. So think of that. And by the way, also think of this one. Be positive. As long as you are on status with your J1, submit on your second year or fourth year as a J1 visa holder, especially if you're a teacher. That way you still have 2 years to process because J1 waiver to green card is at least 2 years. It's a long way, it's a long process. The agony of waiting is too much, but it's all worth it once you get your green card. Before I am a school teacher, I am so stressed. I'm telling you, I'm so stressed. I have lots of acne marks. I've been crying every night in the bed, and my husband is like comforting me, like, it's okay, honey, it's the weekend already. But I'm like, I have lesson plans. I have things to do. I have activities for the kids to have, even though we already have files and files of documents that um is helping me with all these. But come to think of it, I'm teaching kindergarten, 22 students in one room. I don't have anybody. I don't have a paraprofessional who's helping me. And we are a D school during that time. So it's so hard. And as a J1 teacher, I'm telling you, they're giving you like difficult parents and difficult kids. So that's also the other thing that really um really fell me out of love of teaching. But then I told myself, if this is God's way of telling me that you can do it, Emery, yes, you can. So I filed all my papers and I was able to have my green card. I mean, no, work permit first, the form I-765. By the way, if you are not married to your US citizen spouse, you cannot file an adjustment of status or green card or your EAD, which is the Form I-765, because it's a privilege for you. Once you get married to your US citizen spouse, you can have adjustment of status, Form I-485. You can attach your Form I-765 and include your Form I-131 for travel document. Because the USCIS officer or the USCIS overall know that once you process your adjustment of status, it's going to be a long process. It will take at least 6 months to 2 years for you to get your green card. That's why they have to have imposed the work permit. So that's why if you get your work permit, I transitioned from being a teacher to nursing assistant because I wanted to become a nurse. But I told myself, this is not for me. It's so hard in the hospital. But I tried. I tried working. I tried working in a different route because I'm not restricted to teaching anymore. Then I went to working as a sales in the sales. I made good money, but it's fluctuating. Sometimes it's a good month, it's a bad month, and all. But and then I don't want to do that because I'm helping my family back home. We have a house to pay, we have utilities to pay, and I don't want that. I don't want to have a fluctuating income. So that's why I went and find another job, which is as a state employee in Florida. And um, during that time, I already have a green card. So you cannot work as a state employee once you are not a green card holder. That is one of their bases there. But then it's so nice to think about this one. As a J1 teacher, a J1 teacher with 212E rule, once you get your waiver and get your green card, there are lots of doors of opportunities for you. If you feel like it's so hard to teach, maybe you fell out of love of teaching, then focus on this. I will be teaching for a year or two. After that, I'm done. I am going to work in another field because I will be a green card holder. So always think of that. And by the way, what I did when I was still on the process of doing this, I look at the internet. I have like an approved visa or an approved like form I-485, and put a check mark that says approved. And I post it on my wall every day. Every day, I keep on praying to God. After praying, I look at the approval, approved, approved, approved I-485, approved I-612, approved. Because it's like you putting in your brain that that will be the paper that I'll be looking at in a year or two. So you are already like manifesting, praying that you'll get it, you'll get it. And if that's your heart's desire to be with your US citizen spouse, of course, God is going to grant you that wish, that prayer. So just make sure that you are calm, you are strategizing with your husband or your spouse. And if you wanted to know more about J1 waiver process, just look at all our videos. Play this one on your phone, play this one on your television, put it in your background, listen to it, and don't even look at my face. That's okay with me. That's fine. As long as you're listening, because you can get information. And if you wanted to have a sample template, it's available in powerfulcouplejourney.com. If you wanted to direct message me, you can message me through my Facebook Messenger or through email, because my email is um, available in this platform, the YouTube channel. You can email me, you can message me about the process that I took. I'm willing to help you. If you wanted to have a one-on-one um, talk with us, you can. I even have friends that until now, they just have one-on-one talk with me and my husband. And now they are communicating with me, and I'm giving them information. You don't have to pay me like $1,000, $2,000, just like these immigration lawyers, and there's no guarantee. I'm telling you, even though you have an immigration lawyer, they're gonna say there's no guarantee for you to get your waiver, because it's so hard to get this time, especially that it's going to have a change in the presidency. Once somebody there is sitting in that White House, they are going to change the immigration process and they're going to be so strict with that. So file your papers now if you are on your second year or fourth year as a J1 teacher. And if you are not sure if you have your 212E rule, because some of you has a stamp on your visa that says subject to 212E, and on your DS 2019 that you are not subject to the 212E rule, then file for an advisory opinion with the Department of State, because it's free anyway. Just follow their process, and you can mail through USPS or FedEx if you want. They have like either mail post or courier post. You can go and do that one, and you have to wait 4 to 6 months if you want. And if you are subject, then file for your waiver. Again, waiver is a benefit. You are getting the benefit, but the hardship should be on your husband or your spouse. I even have a J1 teacher. She is saying that she really wanted to get the waiver because she has a cancer and things like that. She's really smart, but here's the thing, it's not you. The USCIS officer will not think of your situation. They will think about your husband's situation, your spouse's situation. So think about that one. Think about the hardship of your US citizen spouse and not the hardship of the J1 teacher or J1 visa holder. So please don't forget to like, share, subscribe on our YouTube channel, Powerful Couple Journey. If you wanted to direct message me, don't forget either Facebook or email, you can do that. And if you wanted to have the template, it's available in powerfulcouplejourney.com. And I'm posting every Friday for a video at 3 p.m. I'm doing the live video every Sunday, either today like 11:30 to 2 p.m. That's my usual time. And I'm also doing a live video every Wednesday. And I am always getting all these questions from our Visa J1 Waiver Helping Hands group. And this is my way of sharing to you my ideas. And I'm so thankful that this group is now 3,000 and more. So look at this one. This is the group that I created, J1 Waiver Helping Hands group, and that is me, Emmary. I am creating the group, and we are 3,400 now. J1 Waiver Helping Hands group, and that's the group that we have. And by the way, if you have other questions, post that one. Post anonymously. And if you have friends, please tell them. Agree to group rules and you'll be accepted immediately. Do not invite them, because once you invite them, they have no response that they are agreeing to group rules. So I immediately decline them, but I'm telling them, please agree to group rules and you'll be accepted immediately. Those are the things. And by the way, we have 4 chat groups there. One is for the USCIS, J1 married to a US citizen, J1 that has US citizen child, or children, because that's their way of getting their exceptional waiver. J1 that is filing persecution, and J1 that is filing for no objection statement. So those are the groups, and you can ask about any questions. And by the way, if you have friends that is from EPI and you already are in the process of having your extension and they have the letter there, because these people are having a screenshot and they're saying that they're in panic mode right now because the EPI is saying you are agreeing to our rules that says you will not marry to a US citizen, you will not file for a waiver, you are not going to do a no objection statement. So those sort of things. Well, here's the thing. They just wanted to have the integrity of their visa program, but they cannot stop you from marrying a US citizen. They cannot stop you from getting birth here in the US, having a US citizen child. So if I were you, be strategic, sit down, talk, listen to this podcast that I have, listen to the live video, listen to the videos that I created, play it on the background. That way you can listen up and like, oh my gosh, these are the evidences that Emory have. So, and by the way, if you are sending me a friend request, I'm not gonna answer you directly. I'm so picky when it comes to my friends on Facebook, but I will really, really answer your questions once you direct message me. That's okay, because this is my way of sharing my ideas to you. Thank you for sticking around and welcome to Powerful Couple Journey. And we are here in St. Augustine, Florida, enjoying ourselves for the birthday celebration of my husband. I am so thankful to God for all the blessings that we have. And this is my way of sharing my blessings to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, and you have a great day. Bye.